Good morning, everyone. Pete Pardo here from the Sea of Tranquility. Welcome to another edition of Ranking the Albums. Today we're going to look at the pretty compact studio discography of a very, very cool band from the UK who really were only around for a few years, but dropped some seriously great albums in those few years. Of course, I'm talking about Be Bop Deluxe. All right. A catalog, again, not a lot of albums. We're talking about 5 studio albums here. All of them really good, actually. Well, I'll tell you what. 4 of them, pretty outstanding. The other one, good. Okay, that's how I'm going to kind of do that right there. A fantastic guitar player in Bill Nelson, also a pretty good singer, too. A very unique band because they kind of, a lot of people call them prog. They're kind of more like art rock and just great pop sensibility. They could rock when they wanted to. They could get very experimental, but all throughout their music, very melodic, a lot of catchy hooks, blazing guitar work. I mean, what an amazing guitar player. He could lay down some really cool kind of jazz fusion-y solos. He could do kind of like Hendrixy sort of stuff. All right. And like later in their period, they started, kind of like almost like this Roxy music, kind of like British pop, prog, art rock type of thing that, probably helped, along with Roxy Music, helped to influence a lot of the new wave scene that would come just a couple of years later. So I've got them in the order that I prefer them. All right. I'm ranking them as I like them. I encourage you to do the same. I will say that other than the one that's at the bottom of my list, any of the others could probably swap at any given time because I dig them quite a bit. So let's get started. Number 5, I'm going to go with their last album, Drastic Plastic from 1978. Again, a good album, but, kind of really poppy. I think a lot of the experimentation that they were doing on the earlier albums, this is much more of like a kind of like precursor to new wave album. And still pretty good. There's some Panic in the World, good song, Electrical Language, New Mysteries, Surreal Estate, Visions of Endless Hopes. I mean, there's some good stuff on here. And again, the guitar player is stellar as well. I don't find the songs as kind of irresistibly catchy and challenging musically as the albums that came before. But still, good album, right? So that was 1978. Next up, and again, I debated over and over with these. I'm going to go with their debut, Axe Victim from 1974. As number 4, I could change my mind tomorrow. This is probably the more this or Sunburst Finish might be their hardest rocking album, but this album reminds me a lot of kind of like David Bowie's Ziggy Stardust kind of era. All right, those couple of albums for Ziggy and the Spiders. That's kind of what I get from here. It's kind of glammy, it's kind of proggy, it's got plenty of hard rock, some sick guitar soloing going on here. It's a really, really good album. I dig it a lot. The title track, Axe Victim, is great. All right, Night Creatures, killer. Rocket Cathedrals, killer. Love is Swift Arrows. I don't know, so many good songs on here. But I think I just find the other 3, to me anyway, a little bit more memorable. I don't know. But I debated this over and over again because I almost ranked that higher than this one. Number 3, I'm going to go with Modern Music. I really dig this album a lot. Shorter songs, but immediately addicting songs. A lot of great stuff on here. I mean, Orphans of Babylon, killer guitar work, right? Twilight Capers. The irresistibly poppy and catchy Kiss of Light. Okay, you got the title track. Dance of the Uncle Sam Humanoids. I mean, got some blazing like jazz fusion on here, right? Just really, really good stuff on here. I don't know. I'm a big fan of this album. Big fan of this album. So again, ask me next week. It could even rank higher than this one. Number 2, I'm going to go with Futurama. This is their second album. This is 1975. This is another great one. Another great one. Some mandatory Be Bop Deluxe tracks on here, right? Made in Heaven. Jeez, it's one of my favorite songs by them. All right? Stage Whispers. Sister Seagull, for crying out loud. Sister Seagull, another top 10 Be Bop Deluxe song. Music in Dreamland. Soundtrack. I mean, so many great songs on here. Again, is it prog? Is it pop? Is it art rock? What is it? We don't know. We just know it's great. All right? Number 1 album. This wasn't too hard out of this choice here. Sunburst Finish from 1976. This is probably for most people their greatest achievement. Remains to be seen, but it's for some, I should say. I think it is for me, but it's close. These top 3 are really, really close. God, Heavenly Home, Ships in the Night, Crying to the Sky. That's like, his homage, Bill's homage to Hendrix. Great, great stuff. Sleep That Burns. Oh, man. Life in the Air Age. Crystal Gazing. So many great songs on here, top to bottom. I mean, these Be Bop Deluxe albums are absolutely fantastic. If you have never gotten into them before, you really need to. In spots, it rocks hard, but it's always very intelligent and very sophisticated and charming. Okay, the vocals are really good. The guitar playing is exceptional. Very unique player too. The rhythms are tight. There's smattering of keyboards here and there, but the songs just bounce back and forth between kind of really intelligent, well-constructed pop to kind of quirky art rock to some challenging prog and jazz fusion. Everything else in between. The latter period, hints of what became new wave. Really, really intelligent. Fun stuff. So let's recap. Sunburst finished, number 1. Number 2, Futurama. By the way, these are the Esoteric recordings, remasters, and reissues. Fantastic. Number 3, Modern Music. Number 4, Axe Victim, which I think Esoteric is doing fairly soon, as well as Drastic Plastic will come in at number 5. I do want to make mention, they have an excellent, excellent live album called Live in the Air Age. If you don't have this, very, very cool for all your old horror sci-fi fans. That, of course, is a still shot from the old Metropolis silent sci-fi classic from the 1920s. Really good. Be Bop Deluxe. Check them out if you haven't. I know there's probably going to be some people. I have never heard this band before. Well, now's your time. Yeah, I need a haircut, guys. But, during this lockdown, my normal hairdresser of 20-plus years, she's not essential business, so she ain't open. So going to have to be doing the ponytail thing soon, I think, because I'm way past. So anyway, visit us on the web at www.seatranquility.org. We're on Facebook. We're on Twitter. Of course, we're here on the mighty YouTube all the damn time. We got coming up a cool show, kind of like a little bit different than this. We're going to be talking about some of the greatest comebacks and reunions in rock and metal history. Okay, so that's coming up hopefully later this afternoon. So it's kind of a little special show as far as ranking the albums. How about Black Widow? We're going to do Black Widow probably tomorrow morning. All right, some of you may be like, Black Widow. Who the hell is Black Widow? Well, for all of you who were listening to music back in the late 60s, early 70s, they were one of those kind of other British kind of evil-sounding bands that came out alongside Black Sabbath. Got a lot of notoriety, but were never as heavy as Black Sabbath, right? Mostly for their lyrics. But they got a small little catalog. I'm going to talk about that as well. We're also going to be doing Trapeze over the next day or two, so stay tuned for that as well. All sorts of good stuff coming, so you don't want to miss any of it. We'll see you then, guys. Take care, be well, and stay safe.